Hey guys, this is part 7 of the story. In this story, our favorite blonde is the wielder of Rinnegan, who also happens to be the 6th Path Sage's reincarnation. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. Konoha had proved once again why it was considered the strongest of the elemental nations. Konoha was pitted against 2 other villages, one of them being one of the top 5, and yet Konoha came victorious. However, in war, no victory is without sacrifice, and as such Konoha lost a few shinobis whose names would forever be engraved in the memorial stone. Naruto was slowly regaining consciousness and opened his eyes only to be blinded and brought his hand to cover them. He slowly adjusted to the light and looked up to see a white ceiling. He took the scent of the place and it smelled like disinfectant. Great. I'm in the hospital, Naruto mumbled to himself and tried to rise but felt a weight in his chest. He looked down and saw a mop of dark blue hair that belonged to Hinata. She was curled against him with her head on his chest drooling. It was a funny sight to see. He chuckled and softly shook Hinata, trying to awake her. She began to stir and opened those white eyes that Naruto loved so much. She rubbed them to shake off her sleepiness and took her surroundings to find Naruto's deep blue eyes staring at her. Comfortable? Naruto asked with an amused smile. Very much, thank you, Hinata replied and tried to bury her face closer to his chest. How long have you been here? Naruto asked. I didn't want to sleep alone at the house, so I infiltrated the hospital after hours so I could cuddle with you, Hinata said, slightly blushing, and Naruto chuckled. How is everyone doing? Naruto asked, sitting up and stretching his arms. Everyone we know is fine, but the village did suffer its casualties. Hinata explained, looking down. I understand, Naruto said. He gently grabbed her chin, making her lock eyes with her. Cheer up, Naruto said and slightly kissed her on lips. The quick kiss became a hot make-out session, with Naruto leaning against the wall and Hinata straddling him and holding him by his neck. Oh yeah. This is golden. Ryu tries to cheer up his lover by kissing her deeply, his hands feeling her soft skin. Moments later his hands start roaming down, eliciting a small moan of bliss from Hiromi. Jiraiya said out loud as he was scribbling furiously on his notepad. This kid will be even better than his father. Jiraiya continued on writing as a small trick of blood fell from his nose. What are you doing, Jiraiya-sama? Jiraiya looked up to see Hinata with a very sweet smile on her face. Jiraiya paled at that particular smile, and he could swear he saw a visage of the Shinigami behind her. Have mercy, Jiraiya said, pleading. Not today, Jiraiya-sama. Not today, Hinata said before her Byakugan flared. Secret technique, 1000 years of pain, Hinata said, and empowering her fingers with chakra, she slammed them right in Jiraiya's butt, sending him flying into Naruto's room and crashing into the wall. Naruto was wondering what this commotion was until he saw his pervert of a godfather flying into his room. Jiraiya crashed into the wall and fell to the ground, crying anime tears with his ass smoking. Hinata approached the pervert, who recoiled in fear as she approached. She quickly found out his notebook and threw it the air and burned it to ashes with a small Kaiden jutsu. This particular Kaiden jutsu was taught to her by Kurenai, who burned every Ika she found. NNNNNOOOOOOOO. Jiraiya yelled, crying as he watched his precious work turn to ashes. Naruto just chuckled at the antics of his godfather, who was now getting back to his feet while nursing his precious butt. How are you doing, Gaki? Jiraiya asked. I'm good. I just had chakra exhaustion. I'm good as new, Naruto replied. Good. Jiraiya replied as he saw the ashes of his notebook fly off the window and sunk his head. Naruto looked around, and when he didn't see it, he decided to ask Jiraiya. Arrow Senin, Naruto said, gaining a thick mark from Jiraiya. Have you seen my fan? Naruto asked. I have it right here, Jiraiya said, and took out a scroll from his back and unsealed his fan. Jiraiya picked it up and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Jiraiya saw the surprised face on Naruto and asked what was wrong. I'm just surprised you can lift the weapon so easily. You do realize that that thing eats a lot of chakra, Naruto said, and Jiraiya sensed his chakra to noticed almost 20% missing. This thing just ate a fifth of my chakra just by picking it up. How can you use it? Jiraiya asked, confused, as he placed the fan near his bed. That fan was created by the Rakudo Sennin, and only a descendant from him can use his weapons without the massive chakra drain, Naruto explained, and Jiraiya nodded. There are only 2 people left on this world that can use these weapons. Me and my grandmother, Naruto said. Speaking of which, Sarutobi sensei told me to take you both to his office when you woke up, Jiraiya said and Naruto nodded. Jiraiya called a nurse over so she could do a quick check-up on Naruto and allowing him to leave. Quote, "He's completely back to normal, you can go," the nurse said and Naruto jumped off the bed. He quickly got dressed, picked his fan and placed it on his back and they all left towards the Hokage tower. "Naruto," Jiraiya called and Naruto focused in attention on him. "Can't you hear us to the tower?" Jiraiya asked and Naruto's sweat dropped. His father's S-rank space-time technique that he used to decimate a battalion was reduced to transportation. "I can but I won't. I want to stretch my legs," Naruto said and Jiraiya pouted. They were calmly walking through the streets without a care in the world. Naruto got so caught up in his thoughts he didn't notice the road ahead of him and crashed into a civilian, knocking him to the ground and making Naruto recoil a bit. When the civilian noticed who he crashed into, quickly rose up and bowed to Naruto before he could even apologize. "My apologies Uchiha-sama," the civilian said and everyone raised an eyebrow. "Uchiha-sama?" Naruto asked and the civilian flinched. "Hi," the civilian replied, slightly fearful. "Figures," Naruto thought. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto, for now anyway, and you don't have to bow to me. I hold no grudge against any of you," Naruto said and the civilian sighed in relief. He didn't want to piss off the grandson of Uchiha Madara himself, even more after what he heard Naruto did during the invasion. "Thank you Naruto-san," the civilian said and left. "That was interesting," Jiraiya said and Hinata nodded. "Indeed, maybe they will stop shouting demon everywhere I go. That's always a plus," Naruto said and looked at the other civilians walking in the streets, but the looks Naruto used to receive weren't there anymore. In the beginning they held hatred, after he showed them the Kyuubi they held fear, but now they seemed to hold respect and admiration. Hokage Tower # They all arrived at the Hokage Tower and went through the doors to see the old Hokage giggling like a madman with blood trickling from his nose while he had a few Kage Bushins working on his paperwork. The Hokage giggled once more and Naruto's sweat dropped only to see Hinata disappear in a blur and snatching the Hokage's book and destroying it with the same Kaden Jutsu. "Are all men perverts?" Hinata asked out loud and got a sigh from the Hokage. "How are you feeling Naruto-kun?" the Hokage asked. Naruto outdid himself against the Kages. It isn't every day we see a 14-year-old boy hold his own against Kage-level shinobis. "I'm good as new," Naruto replied. "Now let's get into business," the Hokage said as his clones dispelled and he took his seat behind his desk. "Oh by the Gigi," Naruto said, getting the Hokage's attention. "Did you take the scroll I had with me because I had Gara and his team sealed in there?" Naruto said. "Yes, don't worry, they are all in lockdown pending negotiations with the Sand," the Hokage explained. "And what is the Sand saying?" Jiraiya asked. "It's up to the council now since the Kage died in the invasion and they took a very heavy blow. They came at us with a full battalion of almost 1,000 shinobis and they can't risk war against us, so they will comply with our demands," the Hokage explained. "What did you ask?" Naruto asked. "Financial compensation for the damage dealt to the village, and we are keeping Gara as another Jinchuriki and their team should they choose to stay as well," the Hokage said and Naruto raised an eyebrow. "I know you may not like it, but the Bijuis dictate the power shifts in the villages. Until now we only had the Kyuubi, now we have two if Gara decides to turn friendly to our side," the Hokage said. Naruto brought his hand to his chin in thought and replied. "He might, he holds no love for his village as he was treated like me." "Good," the Hokage replied. Now they would stand like Kumo and Iwa, both having two Bijuis. The Leaf never prided themselves on making weapons of Jinchurikis and proved it many times. They won 3 world wars by having extremely skilled shinobis and not relying on Jinchurikis to do their work. "But before that we should fix Gara's seal," Naruto said and Jiraiya rose an eyebrow in confusion. "After I placed my demonic suppression seal on Gara I noticed some irregularities. The seal that holds Shukaku was designed for inmate objects, it's nothing more than an advanced storage seal, that is why Gara is so unstable. It is probably also affecting Shukaku," Naruto explained and Jiraiya nodded. "We will take care of that later, but now I have other concerns," the Hokage explained before taking out a file and handing it to Naruto to read. "What's this?" Naruto asked as he picked the file and started reading it. "The report on how good Uchiha Sasuke did during the invasion based on Shinobi Sa and Kakashi himself," the Hokage explained. "Invasion report. Name, Uchiha Sasuke. Team affiliation, Team 7 under Hitaki Kakashi rank, Genin. Team assigned, Nara Shikamaru and Haruno Sakura. Description: Sasuke displayed high level of skill and responsibility by taking charge of a genin team and provided crucial assistance in the civilians' evacuation as well, defeating multiple Chunin level shinobis from both sand and sound. Recommendation. Promotion to Chunin. Okay, now what? Naruto asked, slightly confused as to why the Hokage would show him this. I want yours and Hinata's opinion on this, the Hokage explained. Why us? Naruto asked. You are friends with him and know him better than anyone, the Hokage said. Friends is a very strong word, Naruto said, sighing before pulling his thoughts together. I have no doubt that Sasuke is strong enough for Chunin, it's just his attitude that endangers this. If he does get promoted, his ego will skyrocket and he might conflict if someone of the same rank is chosen as leader. Naruto reasoned. In the other hand, not promoting him will just enrage him even more, as he will think that the village is holding him back, and with Orochimaru's offering of power he might be a flight risk. Naruto finished his explanation. What about you, Hinata-chan? Naruto asked. I agree with you, he's too focused on revenge and both choices have drawbacks. However, promoting him and placing him with a strong leader will solve these problems, Hinata replied, and the Hokage nodded in comprehension and would take this later on with the council. I will take it into consideration. Now on to the next manner, and this relates to you, Naruto, the Hokage said, and Naruto focused on him. I'm too old for this job. I should have stayed retired, but when your father died I was forced to take back the hat, the Hokage said, sighing. This invasion was proof of that. I'm no longer strong enough to lead this village, and as such I chose a successor, the Hokage explained. Are you giving the hat to the pervert? Naruto asked offhandedly and got a smack on the head from Jiraiya. I'm not a pervert. I'm a super pervert, Jiraiya said. The Hokage forced a Cho to silence the bickering duo. I would have asked him but he would have refused, the Hokage said, and Jiraiya nodded as it was true. His spy network was of too much importance to the village, and besides he wasn't the type of man to be strapped behind a desk 8 hours a day. Now this brings the main reason I asked Jiraiya to bring you in, the Hokage said, but before he continued Naruto interrupted him. You are making me Hokage? Naruto asked with disbelieving look. Not yet, I'm afraid, the Hokage replied, chuckling. The reason I called you here is because Jiraiya wants you to accompany him into searching for my replacement Senju Tsunade. The Hokage finished with an amused smirk on his old face. Really? Naruto beamed, thinking of going to search for the last piece of family he has, even if she doesn't know about him. Yes, although she might be a bit reluctant into coming back to the village, the Hokage said, sighing. She hasn't been able to cope with her losses and she throws herself into drinking and gambling. Don't worry, I'll bring her back to the village. That's a promise, and I never go back in my word, Naruto said. Now this brings us to final topic of this meeting, the Hokage said, and Naruto sighed. They had already been here for quite a while and it seemed it wasn't going to end anytime soon. After this I'm calling a council meeting to give the promotions. You will be promoted to Chunin, which gives you the right to have a council seat as the head of the Senju, Uzumaki and Namikaze clans, the Hokage said, and Naruto nodded. So have you decided on your name and if you will take the seat right now, the Hokage asked. Naruto once again was lost in thoughts. The Uzumaki name has been with him since his birth, but it's too far away and apparently he's the last of the Uzumaki along with Tsunade. He would like to honor the Namikaze name of his father, but that never belonged to any clan and he wouldn't want to forget the Senju clan. The Uchiha name was out of the question, and as such the choice was only between Senju and Namikaze. It was a tough choice in the end. Naruto would be leaving one name to die, and as such he decided that he should not let the name of the founders of Konoha to be forgotten in history. I'll take the Senju name. From now on I'm Senju Naruto, Naruto said. The Hokage smiled. It was good choice as it were any other, but Sarutobi liked that he chose the founder's clan name. Are you taking the seat now? The Hokage asked. Naruto mused in thought. I don't know, there is going to be lot of noise because of this, Naruto said. Yes, but they can't deny you your heritage, the Hokage explained. I'll take it. Now let's go make some noise, Naruto said, smirking at the thought of all those yelling civilians. The Hokage just sweat dropped. The Hokage flared his chakra and an Anbu dropped from the ceiling and knelt in front of him waiting orders. Summon the council and call Uchiha Sasuke and Nara Shikamaru, the Hokage said. Hi, the Anbu replied and disappeared in smoke. Let's go face the music, Senju Naruto, the Hokage said, chuckling, and they all left the office and went towards the council room. Council room. It took about half an hour before all the clan heads could come. They were all seated in the traditional place. The The Hokage, Jiraiya, Naruto and Hinata walked through the double doors and saw that the council was already assembled. The Hokage sat down and noticed the room. To his left were the clan heads. There was an empty seat closest to him, followed by Inuzuka Sume, head of Inuzuka clan, Hyuga Hiyashi, head of the Hyuga clan, Aburame Shibi, head of the Aburame clan, Nara Shikaku, head of the Nara clan, Yamanaka Inoichi, head of the Yamanaka clan, and finally Akamichi Choza, head of the Akamichi clan. To his right there were his advisors, Shimura Danzo, Mitokado Homura and Udatane Kaharu. Next to them was the civilian side of the council. It consisted of the most important civilians in the village that ran the most shops and provided food, clothes and other materials and services for shinobi use. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, grandson of the legendary Uchiha Madara. Sasuke remembered those words as he watched Naruto walk into the room. His long hair and the fan on his back made Sasuke seethe his teeth as he was permanently reminded of his utterly defeat. The council is in session, the Hokage said before looking at the genins in front of him. We are here today to award promotions to these extraordinary genin for their skill and work during the invasion, the Hokage started. Nara Shikamaru stepped forward. The Hokage called out and Shikamaru stepped forward as requested. For great planning during your match and work during the invasion, we promote you to Chunin. Congratulations and keep up the good work, the Hokage said and threw him a flak jacket. Troublesome, Shikamaru said before putting his jacket on and stepping back. Hyuga Hinata, the Hokage called out and Hinata stepped forward. For great skill in taijutsu and ninjutsu and for remaining calm at the face of stronger opponents, we promote you to Chunin. Congratulations, the Hokage said with a smile. Thank you Hokage-sama, Hinata replied. Uchiha Sasuke, the Hokage called out and he stepped forward with his traditional cocky smirk. You are a special case. After many deliberations and taking into account the work you did during the invasion, you were promoted to Chunin. At this, Sasuke's smirk got even wider. But any sign of insubordination or failure in conduct and you are stripped of the rank. Understood, the Hokage said in a serious voice, leaking a bit of ki. Of course Hokage-sama, Sasuke replied, still with his smile. And finally, the Hokage said, shifting his attention towards Naruto. For great skill in defeating not only Shukaku but for providing great assistance during the invasion in defeating the Kazekage and providing assistance to me against Orochimaru, I award the rank of Elite Chunin to Senju Naruto, the Hokage said. An immense silence followed. Everyone was still wondering if they heard their Hokage correctly. What? Sasuke yelled out and pretty much resumed the thoughts of everyone in the room. How can he be a Senju? Sasuke said, spitting the Senju name. He has the Sharingan, Naruto stated. Everything I said is true. Naruto is the last remaining Senju in the village, the Hokage explained, and surprisingly enough no one yelled or said anything and they just stared at the Hokage waiting for an explanation. You all know that Senju Tsunade had a daughter, right? The Hokage asked and the clan heads nodded. Yes, but she died, Hiyashi stated in a calm tone. That Naruto was becoming more surprising by the moment. Her death was faked by me to protect her from the CRA, the Hokage said, and they all gasped. To think the Hokage would go to such lengths to protect someone from CRA. Her death was faked and Uzumaki Kushina was born, the Hokage said, and Shukaku eyes widened in realization. Troublesome, he said without thinking, making the Hokage focus on him. Trust a Nara to figure the rest, the Hokage thought. Would you like to do the honors? The Hokage asked. Troublesome, Shukaku said before pulling his thoughts together. You all remembered that red-haired loudmouth, right? Shukaku asked and everyone nodded. After all, Konoha's Red Death wasn't easily forgotten. We all know who she was always around, right? Shukaku asked almost rhetorically. Yes, that hussy was always around, Minato-kun, the pink banshee said. The moment she said hussy, Naruto's chakra spiked to the level that everyone gulped in a dry throat due to his presence alone. However, he didn't release any ki, and as such the civilian were all oblivious to that. If Naruto is a member of the Senju clan, the only possible outcome would be if he's Kushina's son and looking at him. Blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm confident assuming that Minato was the father, Shukaku said, and everyone eyes widened. Who's Minato? Sasuke asked, who was oblivious. You wanted to know who my father was, right? Naruto asked to Sasuke, who nodded. Quote, my father was Namikaze Minato, Yondaime Hokage and Uchiha Madara's son, Naruto said, and everyone jaw hit the ground. Who would in their sanity believe that Madara's son would become Hokage? It's ironic. The son of the greatest traitor became our biggest hero, Naruto stated out loud. And the funny part of all this is that Madara hated the Senju and his son ended up marrying one, Shukaku said and everyone chuckled. So that means that you are the great-grandson of Senju Hashirama the Shadaime Hokage, great-grandnephew of Senju Tobirama the Nadaime Hokage, grandson of Uchiha Madara and son of Namikaze Minato the Yondaime Hokage, Tsume said whistling. That was one powerful lineage right there. And you people treated him like garbage, Tsume growled at the civilian side who held their heads down in shame. But that's not all, the Hokage said gathering their attention to him. I'm resigning and as such I've chosen my successor, the Hokage said and many were shocked by this blunt statement. After this meeting Jiraiya along with Naruto will be retrieving Senju Tsunade, Naruto's grandmother, for the position of Gadaime Hokage, the Hokage said and people were happy with his choice. Tsunade was considered a princess in the village and was a Sannin with the power of a cage so she was a fine choice. A very strong lineage indeed. Hiyashi commented but everyone could heard the tone which was said. A fine choice, perhaps my teachings weren't a total loss, Hiyashi thought discreetly looking at Hinata. Even if they were low in numbers the Senju clan was still one of the most powerful and renowned clan in the entire world. Enough, Sasuke yelled making everyone jump from the sudden sound spike. You are an affront to the Uchiha clan. You flaunt that fan and have the Sharingan and yet you choose to honor the Senju name, Sasuke said. You are a disgrace and unworthy of such weapon, Sasuke spat. You want my fan now? Naruto asked. Yes I demand you hand that fan as it belongs to an elite Uchiha like me, Sasuke said and Naruto laughed and Sasuke got a tick mark on his face. You don't even know how irony-packed that statement is, Naruto said and Sasuke got confused and was getting angrier by the moment. I will explain everything so just listen, Naruto stated. Sasuke can you tell me what are the levels of the Sharingan? Naruto asked prodding around a bit wondering if he knew about the Mangekyo. The Hokage sent Naruto a look that clearly said, do you think it's wise, but Naruto nodded. It would become knowledge at any point in time so he just wanted to get this over with so he didn't have anything more to worry about. 3 levels, from 1 to 3 tomos in each eye, Sasuke simply said but Naruto sent a knowing look. Fine there is a 4th level called Mangekyo Sharingan but can only be obtained by killing your best friend. Sasuke blurted out without wanting making Naruto raise an eyebrow. Naruto knew of that because Kurama told him about it but how could Sasuke now? How do you know how to achieve it? Naruto asked narrowing his eyes. Itachi told me to come after him when I had the same eyes as him, Sasuke replied and Naruto seemed to accept the answer. Now let me tell you all something that has long been forgotten, Naruto said and everyone focused on him. We all know the legend of Rakuto Sennin right? Naruto asked and every nodded. They were all shinobis and as such they all knew the tales of their father. Rakuto Sennin was a shinobi of unparalleled power, he was even considered to be a god. During his life he had 2 sons, his older son, inherited the sage's eyes and found the Uchiha clan and the younger brother inherited the sage's body and founded the Senju clan, Naruto said and everyone raised an eyebrow at the statement. Quote. How do you all this Naruto-san? Shibi asked. Let's just say that the furball is an endless pit of information, Naruto explained and his stomach growled at the furball nickname. Moving on. When his life was ending he had to choose who would carry on his work and as such he chose the younger brother, the Senju leader. However this didn't sit well with the Uchiha brother who thought that being the firstborn deserved to be the one to lead the world to peace through strength. Naruto said and everyone was focused on his explanation, the silence was disturbing. As such the older brother challenged the younger one to a battle for the title but lost. Angry with this loss he decided to exterminate the Senju before it even began but he would need more power to do that. He decided to perform a blood ritual, to transform normal person into Uchihas capable of using the Sharingan, Naruto explained and everyone's widened. The benefits of such ritual were unparalleled and could easily bring Konoha to heights never before reached. The Uchihas, created by the blood ritual were half-blood while the ones that came from the older brother's line were called elite or pure blood. Everyone understand? Naruto asked and everyone nodded. The pure blood line was my grandfather's line, going through Minato into me. I assume that my grandfather is dead from a letter I have from him so I'm the last of the pure blood Uchihas making Sasuke a half-blood. Naruto explained and Sasuke seethed, he didn't want to be a half-blood created by some ritual. And what's the difference between the pure blood and half-blood? Shukaku asked curiously. The key difference lies in the activation of the fourth and final stage of the Sharingan. In pure blood Uchihas, the final level is achieved like any others through training in life and death situations. Like mine, Naruto said and closed his eyes. He opened and showed them the normal Sharingan, but then the Sharingan started to slowly spin until it became his Mangekyo. This is my Mangekyo I achieved when that civilian sent 2 Jonins to kill me. I've got to thank you for that, Naruto said, smirking with his M's glowing in all its glory. Everyone was drawn to his eyes, his blood-red eyes that seemed to give off power beyond anything ever imagined. The true power of the Sharingan, the power of Uchiha Madara. He just became much more dangerous, Hiashi thought as he watched his Mangekyo glow. Quote, but there is one more key difference, Naruto said and broke everyone trance just from looking at his eyes. If a half-blood Uchiha awakens his Mangekyo, the more they use it, the more the eyes get sealed until there is nothing more than darkness, Naruto said, and everyone's eyes widened. So that's the price for power for the half-blood. That's why I said you didn't know how irony-packed that statement was. You called yourself an elite Uchiha, but in the end you are nothing more than a copy, Naruto explained as he deactivated his eyes and waited for the explosion. That came out a little harsher than I wanted, Naruto thought in retrospect. How dare you mock me, Sasuke said to him, spiting every word. Is there any proof you can give? Sasuke asked. Just one. My fan, Naruto said and removed it from his back. This fan was created by Raikudo Sennin, and as such only a true descendant can wield it without massive chakra consumption. Naruto explained. Hinata-chan, can you check Sasuke chakra levels? Naruto asked. If he gave the fan to Sasuke and he didn't have enough chakra, he would hit the ground dead like a sack of potatoes. He's around Jonin level, Hinata said, and Naruto nodded. You want to prove that you have pure blood? Naruto asked Sasuke, who nodded. Then pick my fan without fainting, Naruto said and offered the fan to Sasuke. The moment Sasuke just touched the fan, he collapsed to the ground on his knees, taking deep breaths. Is that enough proof? Naruto asked as he replaced the fan on his back. There are only 2 people in the whole world that can use the fan, me and my grandmother Senju Tsunade, Naruto explained, and everyone was still processing everything they heard until now. It doesn't mean that you can't be strong, Sasuke, it only means that the next level of eyes isn't worth the cost, Naruto explained. He knew that this explanation would piss Sasuke even more, but he had to find out sometime. I'll make my own choices, Senju, Sasuke said and left the council room without even asking for permission and slammed the door shut. It was inevitable, the Hokage said. I have a question, Danzo said, and Naruto shifted his attention towards him. Do you know how to do this blood ritual? Danzo innocently asked. No, but even if I did I wouldn't reveal it, Naruto said, and Danzo scoffed. I hold no hate for them, but the half-blood Uchihas shouldn't have been created in the first place, Naruto explained. That's a bit harsh coming from you, Inoichi said. True, but you knew the Uchihas and their hunger for power. If they all knew how to achieve the next level, what do you think they would do? Naruto rhetorically asked. I think Itachi wiping them out was a blessing in disguise, Naruto said. You have no idea how right you are, the Hokage thought to himself, as did his personal counselors. Well, this was a very strange day of revelations, Homura said. Yes, is there anything else you want to discuss? The Hokage asked, and the pink banshee raised her hand. Yes, Hokage-sama. Since Naruto-sama is now the sole heir to a clan, the CRA applies to him, the pink banshee stated, and Naruto's eye twitched. I have a question. You didn't know about me until now, so why didn't Sasuke go into CRA? Naruto asked, trying to outmaneuver them as he already knew this was coming. Quote. We didn't want to pressure him as he might run away, the pink banshee explained. Well, then apply the same principle to me. If you force me into CRA, I will leave the village, and the Senju, Uzumaki, Namikaze and pure blood Uchiha line ends with me, Naruto stated out loud and clear, and Jiraiya scoffed. He didn't know why his godson wouldn't want a harem, but he was just like Minato, an idealist. Hinata is the only one for me, Naruto said, and Hinata turned bright red. Kids. With Naruto-kun, Hinata thought before fainting. Naruto quickly rushed to her and caught just before she hit the deck. She hasn't fainted in years, Naruto said, chuckling. So are we clear about the CRA? Naruto asked with a serious voice. But you can't refuse its law, the pink banshee tried to explain, but she couldn't but feel a bit scared of him. I took down a Biju alone. I suppose it's civilians like you that are going to force me. Naruto rhetorically asked. He didn't want to flaunt his power, but in this case he was forced. The pink banshee flinched at his tone and said nothing more. She was trying to set him up with Sakura, but it appears it's too late. The shinobi side never really appreciated the CRA, especially the females. Just the thought of being turned into a baby factory made them want to puke. Anything else? Naruto asked, but everyone remained silent. The meeting is adjourned, the Hokage said, and everyone started leaving except Jiraiya, Naruto and the fainted Hinata, who was regaining conscious. That was a very interesting meeting, the Hokage explained. Yes, and they didn't want to kill me this time, Naruto said, chuckling. Although Sasuke didn't seem happy, Naruto said. Can't really blame him, Jiraiya said. Are you ready to head out? Jiraiya asked. Two things. Can Hinata go with us? And I would like to visit Gara before, Naruto said, and both Jiraiya and the Hokage nodded. Here, the Hokage gave him a paper to allow him to visit Gara. Meet with Jiraiya and Hinata at the North Gate in 2 hours then, the Hokage said, and everyone left the room. # department #. Naruto made this way towards the interrogation and torture division. The IT division was located near the Hokage tower, so it was only a couple of minutes on foot. He entered the building and suddenly a kunai came out of nowhere and grazed his cheek, drawing a bit of blood. Naruto turned around, no see Enko trying to lick his blood, but apparently the wound was already closed. What kind of greeting is this? Naruto asked, shaking his head. You are no fun, Enko pouted. So what are you doing where, Mr. Uchiha? Enko asked, and Naruto sighed. My name is Senju Naruto and I'm here to see Gara, Naruto explained, and Enko's eyes widened to the Senju name. Here, Naruto said, and delivered her the Hokage's permission to visit the inmates. After you, Senju-sama, Enko said, licking her lips and bowing deeply. Crazy snake lady, Naruto muttered in thought. Naruto made his way down the stairs and came into a heavy metallic door with an Anbu stationed outside. Naruto quickly showed him his permission and was allowed inside where the holding cells were. This section didn't have many cells when compared to Konoha's prison because the IT department was only temporary. Naruto arrived to the last cell and looked inside. In there were Baki, Temari and Kankuro, all wearing chakra seals and restricting clothes. Gara, however, was chained to the middle of the room with a kanji circle around him. Come to gloat? Temari asked, her voice broken and weak. Not my style, Naruto replied. She didn't understand how a 14-year-old defeated not only her sensei, who was a Jonin, but also her brother. In fact, I came to talk to Gara and explain a few things, Naruto said, and Gara looked up, locking eyes with Naruto. How is the seal? Naruto asked. How are you so strong? Gara asked instead of replying Naruto's original question. Enter Naruto OST1 Sadness and Sorrow. The pain of being alone is really terrible, right? Naruto asked, and Gara's eyes widened. I don't know why, but I understand your feelings so well that it hurts me, Naruto said, and everyone was silent. But I have precious people now, and I would never allow anyone to hurt them, Naruto said. Why do that for strangers? Gara asked with shaky voice. Because they took away my solitude and loneliness, Naruto said. They saved me from my hell, and because of that they are precious to me and I would do anything for them, Naruto explained. Love. Is that why is strong? Gara mused in thought. Hinata-chan, Hokage Gigi, Uruka-sensei, Kakashi-sensei and more. Naruto said, smiling. I don't have anyone like that. You were lucky, Gara said sadly. You just have to look around. And not very far, Naruto said, pointing towards his brothers and sensei. When I placed the barrier, they jumped in, even knowing that you might lose control and kill them as well, Naruto explained. Really? Gara shakily asked. Of course, Gara, we are your brothers, we would anything for you, Kankuro said, patting him in the back. Thank you, Gara said, smiling for the first time in a long time. End Naruto OST1 Sadness and Sorrow. Before we begin again, I need to tell you that. Naruto bit his lips but continued. I was the one that killed your father, Naruto said. Killing someone else's father is hardly a good thing when starting a friendship. Good, Gara said, and Naruto faltered for a moment before regaining his senses. Good? Naruto asked in disbelief. Yes, he turned me into a weapon and then tried to kill me on several occasions by sending assassins. Besides, he was never a father to any one of us, Gara explained, and Naruto sighed in relief. Now I have good news and bad news, Naruto said, and the Sand team focused on them. Quote, the demands we made towards the Sand were financial reimbursement and the Ikibi, Naruto said, and everyone's eyes widened. Which means that you, Gara, won't be allowed to leave the village, Naruto said, and Gara remained silent. However, you might be able to join our ranks and be a Jinchuriki like me, Naruto explained, and Gara nodded. He never really enjoyed his time in the sand, so maybe Konoha would be a nice change of pace. What about us? Temari asked. She didn't know what they were planning from them, and it could be execution. As an offer of good faith towards the sand, we are offering you a choice. You can remain here in the leaf as shinobis, or you can return to your home village, Naruto explained, and they started thinking. We stay with our little brother. Temari and Kankuro and Naruto chuckled and turned to Baki, who remained silent through this whole meeting. I can't remain here. I have people there, Baki shakily said, and Naruto nodded. I understand, Naruto said, and got up. I'm going now to get the 5th Hokage since the old man is retiring. When I come back I will take you all to ramen, my treat, Naruto said. Ramen? Gara asked. They apparently didn't have those types of food in there. Ramen is food for the gods, you will love it. See you in a few days, Naruto said, and left the IT department, heading towards the gate where Jiraiya and Hinata were waiting. Naruto. You are a strange person, Gara thought. Sand Village Council Room. It has been a couple of days since the failed invasion, and the scarce survivors of the invading force arrived at Suna to inform them of a terrible mistake and ever worse failure. News that the Hokage was killed in combat forced the council to be summoned, and the demands from the Leaf answered. Of the 1,000 shinobis they sent, only a couple dozen survived to tell the tale. It was a massacre to the Sand Shinobi to lose so much and gain nothing in return. The Sand never stood a chance. Even with Oto and Gara's power combined, they were utterly defeated. The Suna Council was composed of 12 members, now only 10 since the Hokage was dead and Baki the Jonin commander was missing in action or dead. What a mess, Dai said. Dai was one of the youngest members of the council. He was a Chunin who got recently promoted and was the head of intelligence in the Sand. What do we do now? Aki asked. Aki was a middle-aged man. He was a retired Chunin from the shinobi life and chose a simple civilian life with his wife and kids. I say we fight, Kimi said. Kimi was one of the few civilians in the council. She was the leader of the civilian council that ran all of the stores in the village. We can't fight. We lost a fifth of our shinobis to that invasion. That attack was a leap of faith and wild card. We are severely weakened right now, and we probably wouldn't be able to hold an attack should the Leaf go to war with us, Aki explained. According to the reports, their Jinchuriki was able to defeat Gara and kill the Hokage along with 200 of our own with a single jutsu. Yura and everyone's eyes widened. What could they do against such overwhelming force? We can't do anything else but to surrender to their terms, Yura said, sighing. Their village took a very hard blow and it would take years to recover. We can't surrender to them, Kimi said. We broke the peace treaty, we invaded and lost. We have no choice but to surrender the money and the Ikibi to them, Yura said. They want our Biju. That's unacceptable, Aki said. Would you prefer war? Yura rhetorically asked. We can win, we will have the home field advantage, Dai explained. And their Jinchuriki uses the same jutsu and obliterates the village. Konoha isn't considered the strongest of the five for no apparent reason. They won all the 3 world wars and this invasion was proof their strength hasn't diminished, Yura explained. I told you many times the alliances make you dependent and weak. I never thought of seeing this village fall to such degree, Chio said. Chio was one of the elders of the Sand and the one that performed the sealing on Gara. How much money are they asking? Kimi asked. For property damage and lives lost they ask for 50 billion, Yura said. That will almost destroy our economy. We must renegotiate with them, Kimi said. These terms are non-negotiable. We should never have placed our faith on Orochimaru of all people, Yura said, shaking his head. So what's left of this village? Without help we will probably no longer be considered a shinobi village among the Great Five, Dai said. We must make new alliances, Aki explained, and a few nodded. A new alliance would cement their growth so they can stand back up and prevent any attacks. Yes. Send word for Tsuchikage, Yura said. Otogakure #. Orochimaru was cursing every single fiber of Naruto's being. Orochimaru was considering if he should keep Naruto alive for his purposes or kill him for destroying the chakra network on his arm. The moment his chakra network was destroyed he lost the ability to mold chakra in that arm, preventing him from doing hand seals and as such preventing him from doing any type of jutsus that required any hand seals. Kabuto had studied his arm and tried to heal it, but you can't heal something that doesn't exist. With his level of knowledge, Kabuto didn't stood a chance at doing anything to heal his master. Of course Orochimaru had a solution, which was to swap bodies, but he wanted to wait for a very special body that he felt was getting closer and closer. He could feel all of Sasuke's hate and hunger for vengeance, and soon enough he would belong to Orochimaru. "I'm sorry Orochimaru-sama, but this type of wound is beyond me," Kabuto replied sadly, and Orochimaru cursed the blonde. Everything was good until he showed up, and the barrier he placed didn't even slow him down, but above else he has the eyes. Orochimaru always wanted the Mangekyo Sharingan. "It can't be helped. There is only one person that might be able to heal me," Orochimaru said, sweating. Losing the chakra network in his arm placed him in constant pain as his cells weren't properly fed. "And who might that be?" Kabuto asked as he pushed the glasses in his face up. "My former teammate Senju Tsunade," Orochimaru replied with a glint in his eyes. He knew exactly what it would take to convince her. "Contact our spies, we are leaving now," Orochimaru ordered. Konoha's Dango stand. A few days had passed since Naruto, Hinata and Jiraiya left in search for Naruto's grandmother, Senju Tsunade, so she could return to the village to become the Sarutobi's successor as Godime Hokage. The constructions around the village were progressing very well as they didn't receive much damage. The most important buildings were protected by Naruto's barrier seals, allowing the hospital and other buildings to remain working non-stop. In the middle of Konoha, more precisely in the Dango stand that Enko spends most of her time in, were two cloaked persons inside drinking a bit of tea and eating dangos, since it was a dango stand. Both of them had long, high-collared black cloaks with red clouds in them. On top of their heads, straw hats with a small bell hanging by a small red wire. These two unknown members actually belonged to an organization called Akatsuki that were after the Bijuis like the one in Naruto, but no one knew that. "Have you heard the news?" one civilian asked, and both Akatsuki members focused on the conversation. Believe it or not, listening to civilians talk is a very good way to scout for information. "About what?" one other civilian replied. "That brat, Uzumaki Naruto, is now Senju Naruto. Apparently is the heir of the Senju clan and great-grandson of the first Hokage," the civilian said. "Did you hear that, Itachi-san?" the Akatsuki member asked his partner, now identified as Itachi. Uchiha Itachi, the prodigy of the Uchiha clan and the one that butchered all of them except his little brother a few years ago. "Yes, Kisame. This is new revelations, we must inform our leader," Itachi replied in his monotone voice, and Kisame nodded. "You don't say, but I thought he was an Uchiha since he is the Sharingan," the civilian replied, and Itachi's eyes widened, revealing a pair of blood-red eyes with 3 tomos in it. "I think you missed one a couple years ago," Kisame said, chuckling. It was fun to see at least some emotion coming off from Itachi, since he was always stoic and didn't say much. "Interesting. How can Naruto-kun have the Sharingan?" Itachi mused in thought. "I know for certainty that I killed all of my clan minus my foolish little brother. Neither Kushina Senpai nor Minato had the Sharingan. Is it the Kyuubi?" Itachi thought as he ran through all the various scenarios on his head to explain. "What are you thinking so hard about?" Kisame asked in an amused tone. Quote, "I don't understand, how could Naruto be an Uchiha? It doesn't add up," Itachi replied. "Well, if you listened to what they were saying you would know. Apparently the brat is the grandson of Uchiha Madara," Kisame said, and Itachi froze. He never said anything about having a grandson. If he had a grandson he would most likely use him to achieve his goals. "Kushina Senpai didn't give off chakra similar to an Uchiha, which only leads me to conclude that it was Minato," Itachi thought. Minato never showed his Sharingan, and yet he was a force to be reckoned with. "Deception, the true way of the shinobi," Itachi thought, chuckling to himself. He was considered a genius among genius, a prodigy that appears once every 100 years. Very similar to Minato, but it appears that Minato won the pool. "This is very interesting indeed," Itachi said as they continued to listen to their conversation. A few minutes later another civilian said something that caught their attention. "It's a good that the Sandaime is retiring. He did so much for our village, he deserves to rest," the civilian said. "Yes, and the chosen to the Godime Hokage was Senju Tsunade," the civilian said. "Looks like the Hokage title falls into the Senju once again," the civilian replied. "I know," the other replied, chuckling. "Jiraiya-sama left with Naruto-sama so they could find her and bring her back," the civilian said. "Looks like we lucked out. The Kyuubi just left town," Kisame said sadly. He was hoping to feed a good portion of chakra to his Samahata. Yes, let's leave before we are discovered, Itachi replied, and both of them stood up and left the stand. Both members were walking through the village, making their way out of the village when they came across with two familiar faces, to Itachi at least. You aren't from the village, right? Asuma asked, weary of the unidentified males in front of them. Why are you here? Asuma asked. Long time no see, Asuma-san, Kurenai-san, Itachi said in his monotone voice. If you know who we are, then you must be a shinobi from this village, Asuma said. Itachi simply raised his hat slightly to allow them to see his blood-red eyes. The moment they saw his eyes, they both tensed. Uchiha Itachi? Asuma asked, and Itachi dropped his hat and let his hair flow with the wind, locking eyes with the two Jonins in front of them. You know these people, Itachi-san? Kisame asked and also dropped his hat. Then I'll present myself. Hoshigaki Kisame, a pleasure to meet you, Kisame said. You dare show your face after what you have done? Asuma asked as he kept his guard up. Even with Kurenai, he didn't know if he could take him on, and his companion wouldn't help at all. I'm going to end you both, Asuma said. Itachi-san, it looks like you are hated in this village, Kisame said, chuckling. I know who you are, Kurenai said, eyeing Kisame. Hoshigaki Kisame, former member of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, Kurenai informed. You are in a lot of trouble for coming here, Itachi, Asuma said. Don't get involved in my work. I have no intention of killing you, Itachi said. You aren't the type of person to return here without a goal. What is it that you want from the village? Asuma asked. You are annoying, Kisame said, and took his sword out and hit the ground, making chunks fly and a bit of dust to rise. Should I kill them? Kisame asked Itachi. It appears we aren't leaving without a fight, Itachi said. The moment Itachi said that, Kisame picked his sword and tried to hit Asuma, who jumped back to avoid. Asuma took out his trench knives and blocked the next sword swing. Kurenai used the cover that Asuma gave her and went through hand seals, disappearing into thin air. Genjutsu, Itachi thought as he used his Sharingan to analyze the battle. Asuma was starting to sweat as he was being pushed by the sword. Kisame was a lot stronger than he let on, and that with only a single hand. My Samahata doesn't cut. It shreds, Kisame said, and pulled his sword back, shredding through Asuma's skin and drawing blood, making him wince in pain. Meanwhile, Kurenai had her genjutsu ready. You are late, Kurenai, Asuma said, nursing his arm. The moment Asuma said that, the ground around Kisame started to melt and he was trapped and unable to move. Behind Itachi, a tree suddenly sprouted from the ground and snared him in place. Kurenai emerged from the tree with a kunai at hand, getting ready to kill him. This is the end for you, Kurenai said, and moments later she realized that she was the one pinned to the tree and was watching Itachi ran towards her with a blade at hand. Kurenai bit her lip and used the pain to break the illusion. The moment she broke it, she ducked under a horizontal slash from Itachi's blade. Itachi saw Kurenai duck and gave her a kick that she blocked, but she was sent towards a nearby river nonetheless. Kurenai, Asuma shouted, concerned with her. You don't have time to look away, Kisame said. Meanwhile, on top of the river. That was very good, Kurenai-san, Itachi said as he quickly appeared next to her at the river. But, Itachi said, but was interrupted. But this is the end for you, another voice said from behind Itachi. He turned around to come face to face with Kakashi himself. Asuma was dodging swing after swing until he saw an opening and tried to slash with his knives that gave Kisame a small cut through his cheek. As a reply, Kisame started going through hand seals and said, Sweden. Suiryuden no Jutsu, Kisame said, and from the river a water dragon erupted and went towards Asuma. Out of nowhere came another dragon of equal strength that clashed with the one from Kisame, destroying each other. The same jutsu? Kisame asked, surprised. Why are you here? Asuma asked. I thought you might need a hand, Kakashi replied. Suddenly Itachi's hand flew out of his jacket with shurikens ready to throw. Kakashi jumped back and said, Sweden, Sujinheki. A water wall rose up around Kakashi, blocking 4 water drills. Apparently the shurikens were a mere distraction from Itachi. He's fast. I barely saw the hand seals, Kakashi thought as he analyzed the powerful opponent in front of him. Very good. You are skilled with that eye of yours, Itachi. Right before a shadow clone from Itachi come behind Kakashi and stabbed him with a kunai, Kakashi bursted into water, revealing it to a simple water clone. Water clone? Kisame asked, amazed. He knows so much jutsus from my village, Kisame thought. Itachi was looking for Kakashi when something caught his attention. He looked down only to see Kakashi giving Kurenai a kunai. But, the moment Kurenai was about to attack one of the Itachi in the river, Kakashi tackled her just before the clone exploded. Kakashi. Kurenai. Asuma yelled as he also jumped into the river. The water was coming down from the explosion and showed a lightly scorched Kakashi and an unharmed Kurenai and Asuma. Be careful with him. He became an Anbu captain at 13 years old, Kakashi explained. I didn't expect him to be so strong, Asuma said surprised. No. He has yet to show his true strength, Kakashi explained. You are really skilled with your Sharingan even though you aren't an Uchiha, Itachi said. He's right, I tire easily, Kakashi thought. Sharingan. Got the true power of the Sharingan. I'm about to show you why the Uchiha clan was feared and unparalleled in power, Itachi said just before his eyes opened very slowly. This is bad. If his powers are what Naruto told me about, then we are in big trouble, Kakashi thought. Guys. Close your eyes, no matter what happens don't open them, Kakashi yelled, stressing every word. Only a Sharingan user can fight him, Kakashi explained. It's true that a Sharingan user can resist it, but you can't counter this technique with it, Itachi explained just before he locked eyes with Kakashi. Tsukuyomi. Tsukuyomi world #. The moment Itachi pronounced that single word, Kakashi was drawn into another world. The sky was red and the clouds and sun were black. Kakashi was pinned to a cross, trying his best to break the illusion. Don't overexert yourself, this technique is unbreakable. In here I'm God and control everything. 3 days in here are but 3 seconds in the real world, Itachi explained as he had a sword on his hand and was clear what he was going to do to Kakashi. Suddenly Itachi stabbed Kakashi in the gut and he yelled in pain. Itachi suddenly multiplied and all of them had swords and started stabbing Kakashi as well. 71 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds remaining, Itachi said as Kakashi was healed and he started stabbing again. Real world, 3 seconds later What happened? Asuma asked as he felt Kakashi wince in pain but didn't know what happened. His mind held on. Kisame asked, surprised to see Kakashi still standing but taking hard breaths. It seemed a miracle that he yet managed to stand. But Itachi-san, it's dangerous to use those eyes, Kisame said. By the looks of it, Naruto was right, Kakashi thought. Are you after Sasuke? Kakashi asked, his voice strained by the genjutsu he just suffered. No, Itachi replied. We are looking for the Yondaim's legacy, Itachi relied in his traditional monotone voice. You are from the Akatsuki, aren't you? Kakashi asked, surprising everyone in there. Kisame, we are taking Kakashi with us, Itachi suddenly said, and Kisame dashed towards him only to intercept by a fierce kick from Konoha's green beast made a guy. Who are you? Kisame asked as he regained his footing. Konoha's green beast made a guy replied with his teeth sparkling as he took his Goken stance. Look at you. Perhaps you meant to say fool. Kisame taunted, but Itachi cut him off saying, don't underestimate him. Suddenly Kakashi fell to the water and started sinking only to be caught by Guy. Open your eyes, Guy said to Asuma and Kurenai. But Kakashi. Kurenai said but was cut off. Just don't look at his eyes, focus on his legs and arms and fight from there, Guy explained as they both opened their eyes, but it seemed that they were always drawn to lock eyes with Itachi. Easier said than done, Asuma said. Kisame, we are leaving, we didn't come here to start a war, Itachi said, and they both disappeared in a blur. They are gone, I'm taking Kakashi to the hospital, Guy said and disappeared as well. With Sasuke Sasuke was currently in the Uchiha compound in one of the many training grounds, taking out his frustrations on some unlucky wooden dummy. He was frustrated from everything he learned during the council meeting. That Naruto just seemed to have everything. Sharingan, Sasuke remembered as he drove a fist through the wooden dummy, destroying the right arm. Uchiha Madara, Sasuke remembered and gave an open palm strike and severed the dummy's head. Senju, Sasuke remembered and gave it a spin kick and destroyed both legs, leaving only the torso left. Pure blood, Sasuke seethed and charged a Chidori and completely obliterated the dummy, leaving nothing but bits and chunks on the ground. The once mighty wooden dummy was no more. Sasuke took a couple of deep breaths, trying his best to calm himself. He went towards his house to take a bath to clean the sweat from the training session, until he remembered something. When you awake your Sharingan, go to the main house and look beneath the 7th tatami mat from the far right. That is where our clan used to meet. In there you will find your answers, Sasuke remembered. One of the last things Itachi ever said to him just after he massacred the clan, leaving only him behind. Sasuke quickly made his way towards the main hall. Since his clan demise, he only used his house and the other buildings were just gathering dust. He quickly arrived at the main house and made his way towards the meeting hall. He counted 7 tatamis from the far right. He removed the 7th and beneath it was a small staircase that seemed to go in deep beneath the main building. He quickly made his down but it was pitch black. He scanned his surroundings and used a small fire jutsu to light the torches. He suddenly came face to face with a big stone wall and, by the looks of it, it seemed very sturdy and heavy, but Sasuke noticed the Sharingan design in the middle of it and quickly activated his. What seemed to be an empty wall now had writing in it. He quickly performed the hand seals instructed in the wall and stone moved to the side allowing entrance to the chambers. Apparently only someone with the Sharingan was allowed entrance to such place. Sasuke entered the new room and as he expected was empty and dark, but the Sharingan enabled him to see better at night, so he found the torches and lit them. The moment the torches flared to life, Sasuke saw a big room with a tablet in the middle. Behind the tablet a wall with the Uchiha fan in it. Sasuke used his Sharingan and looked very carefully at the tablet. It seemed that he could only read bits and pieces, but from what he could read it clearly stated that there was another level above the Sharingan and it was the Mangekyo Sharingan. Maybe the more advanced the eyes, the more I can read. Sasuke pondered in thought as he was using the Sharingan to read what was written in the tablet. Everything the tablet said was exactly like Itachi had said about his eyes. Sasuke knew he needed to achieve the next level of eyes so he could go up against his brother and defeat him. Interesting enough, the tablet said nothing about the half-blood and pure-blood Uchihas, so Sasuke wondered just how old this tablet was. I will need every bit of power I can get to defeat him. With Naruto, Hinata and Jiraiya. A few days had passed since they left Konoha. As they were going towards the town, Jiraiya had received info from his spy network. According to his spies, Tsunade was last seen in a small town in the land of fire called Tanzaku. One interesting fact is, don't for a moment think that Jiraiya won't be a pervert around you, even when you sleep. This particular fact was a surprise to Naruto and Hinata, since both of them got a room for them and Jiraiya was left with one to him. Jiraiya, being the pervert that he is, thought that Naruto might be getting some action with his girlfriend and as such used his infiltration jutsu and infiltrated Naruto's room with his notepad ready to write. Not a good idea to try and spy on someone who has the Sharingan and Byakugan that can spot anyone using chakra. As such, he was once again in the receiving end of Hinata's Juken techniques and Naruto defense seals zapping the poor pervert. They were approaching the town Jiraiya heard about. They have been walking a couple of hours now and they were starting to see the town on the horizon. This town was famous for having a huge castle in the middle. So Naruto, are you working on some new technique? Jiraiya asked, wanting any juicy details. If he had the same mind as his father's, then any technique would be worth learning. Actually yes. I'm working on recreating the lightning armor since I saw the basics during the battle against Orochimaru. I can already channel lightning chakra through my synapses to further increase my reaction time, but the outer shell is a bit tricky. Naruto explained and Jiraiya was stunned. You do realize that is an S-rank jutsu, right? Jiraiya asked. I know. That's why I'm trying to recreate it. I think I'm rather good with lightning jutsus. I'll get it down eventually, Naruto said and Jiraiya nodded. His father was the same. When he got some jutsu idea on his head, it would stay there until solved. How about in the meantime you improve the Rasengan? Jiraiya said and Naruto got confused look. Improve? My father's notes didn't say anything about a better Rasengan, Naruto asked and Jiraiya nodded. Your father created the Rasengan intending to add his elemental affinity to it, but it might be a jump to do that yet. So why don't you try to make a bigger Rasengan by pumping more chakra into it? Jiraiya said and Naruto pondered. The Rasengan was by itself an A-rank jutsu. If he created a bigger one, it would go towards S rank, and adding elemental affinity it would most likely be a one-shot kill. An Udama Rasengan? Naruto asked for confirmation and Jiraiya nodded. So I just pump more chakra into it? Naruto asked and Jiraiya nodded again. How much more? Naruto asked. How about you try with twice the chakra and go from there? Jiraiya said and Naruto nodded. As they were walking, Naruto decided to try and do a big Rasengan. They were walking and Naruto was focusing chakra to his hand. He started spinning the first round of chakra and immediately created a layer to compress it and easily reached the normal Rasengan. He started pouring more chakra into it and the ball started glowing even more. Sensing no strain in containing it, he continued to add chakra and was easily reaching the double the normal Rasengan. He was about to tell Jiraiya he managed twice the amount when the Rasengan suddenly destabilized and exploded in his hand. The result of the explosion created a shockwave that sent everyone tumbling to the ground as they didn't expect the backslash from the jutsu. His Rasengan seemed just fine a few moments ago. Damn it, brat, Jiraiya said. How about you train it away from us? Hinata asked, and she got up and dusted off her clothes. My bad, Naruto said, chuckling and rubbing the back of his head. We are almost at town. How about you keep the training for later, Jiraiya said. Away from us, Jiraiya stressed, and Naruto's sweat dropped. It was a little shockwave after all. Fine, Naruto said, pouting as he couldn't train this new technique right away. He might be strong, but he's still a brat, Jiraiya said, shaking his head. But he isn't strong enough to take on Kage-level shinobi alone, though he has techniques to run away, Jiraiya thought as was thinking on what should he teach Naruto. They arrived at the gates and entered the city. Hinata and Naruto were marveled by all the activity going on and all the people having fun in the various stands available. They didn't leave the village much and only started after they became genin. Let's go to a hotel and sleep the night. We will start searching tomorrow, Jiraiya stated, and they both nodded. They were calmly walking through the town, completely unaware of two presences after them. They were keeping their distance and suppressing their chakra levels so they wouldn't be detected. Looks like the information was accurate. He did leave the village with Jiraiya, but I don't know the girl, Kisame said as he watched the three of them check into a hotel. The girl's name is Hyuga Hinata, and she was the Hyuga's heiress but was expelled from the clan, Itachi calmly explained. She doesn't seem like much, Kisame said as he watched her. She seemed too fragile, like a doll. Quote, we are shinobi, don't underestimate her. She was promoted to Chunin along Naruto-kun. We don't have much info on her, so tread carefully even if she seems weak, Itachi explained. He was always the prudent one while Kisame tended to jump in, guns blazing. Fine, but even we can't take on Jiraiya, Kisame said. Indeed. Let's find some girls, Itachi said, and Kisame's jaw dropped. You want to get laid? Kisame asked, and Itachi got a tick mark. I heard about Jiraiya's obsession for women. It's our best choice to distract him long enough for us to get to Naruto-kun, Itachi explained, and Kisame nodded. What about the girl? Kisame asked. She is irrelevant, although it appears that Naruto is very close to her. Notice how he walks close to her, yet he's slightly ahead of her as if shielding her, and he's ready to jump into action at any time. Itachi analyzed. He seems close to her, so we might use it for our advantage, Itachi said, and Kisame nodded. Let's go, Kisame said, and they both disappeared in a blur. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.